Studying absolutely sucks. Unless you're truly passionate about different chemical reactions or you deprive yourself from easy dopamine good enough that you then receive that said dopamine from adding numbers and writing essays. Look, I did some polls in the last couple of weeks. 94% of you want to be your own boss. 95% of you are in school, university, and college. And even 86% of you think that anime is good for you, which is pretty impressive cope, although it's kinda ironic since this video is kinda inspired by anime. But you clicked on this video for a reason, and I'm here to deliver completely and even more, so let's get right into it. To begin, this video is going to be controversial, but since 94% of you want to be your own boss, I probably assume at least 80% of you watching this video want to be your own boss, so let me explain. In the classroom of the elite, we hear this quote from Ayanokoji at the end of season 1. He says, "But Haritika, I've never thought of you as an ally, not you, not Kushida, not Hirata. All people are nothing but tools. It doesn't matter how it's done, it doesn't matter what needs to be sacrificed. In this world, winning is everything. As long as I win in the end, that's all that matters." And what he says is really true. Results are the only thing that matters. Countless times in history, let's take for example Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan, prior to being Genghis Khan, was a mid-rank army officer with extremely astronomical ambitions. There were around maybe 12 to 20 people ahead of him, stopping him from being the leader. And funnily enough, they were all coming together to discuss tactics and what to do next. But everyone above him at the same place, Genghis set an ambush with some of his partners and killed them all, thus flying to the top of the hierarchy. Even though what he did probably had Satan jumping up and down in excitement, at the end of the day, in the real world, all there was to be known was that Genghis was the new leader and they had to understand that fast or face the consequences. It's just like in school. At the end of the day, you could study 1,000 hours, but all that matters is the results on your tests, assignments, exams, and then that final mark on your transcript. It doesn't matter whether you studied 1 hour, 0 hours, you stayed up for 3 months and studied every waking moment. The second the result is out, everything prior is irrelevant. We see this all the time in the real world as well. The construction worker versus the rich man. The construction worker works all day, bruises all over his skin, he's working in the hot, the cold, whatever. The rich man, maybe he just tells people below him what to do, he works a couple hours max per day. He's making more money. Even compare the construction worker to a streamer like IShowSpeed. IShowSpeed is a pretty hard worker compared to other streamers. This is compared to Kai Cenat. He just sits down on his laptop and he starts like entertaining people, while the construction worker is probably working hard, scraping for literally every single penny just so he can provide food for his family. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Kai Cenat, because what he's doing is obviously smarter, and that's the point I'm trying to make. So now that we understand what matters is not studying, but only the result on that paper, what can we do about it? Well, here's the thing. Ayanokoji was brought up since the first day he was born to learn all these things. Realistically, we aren't going to get to his level of knowledge of these subjects ever. And don't be offended by this, as he's a fictional character. And even then, it's like, do we really need to know advanced math? Like, honestly, all you need in this world is money. So unless advanced math is not making money, it's like, let's be honest, like, come on, you guys gotta think smarter here. But let's imagine something. If Ayanokoji was stripped of all his intellectual knowledge and still had to get hundreds on the test, what would he do? Well, it's obvious. He would cheat. Now look, cheating isn't sustainable, but this is for the 80% or higher of the viewers who want to become their own boss. Setting up my method takes less than 2 hours, while studying can take up to, I don't know, the whole day, weeks, months. Before I can get into my methods, this can only work if 1. Look, you need to understand you can't cheat life. You need to become highly intellectual anyway. So what I mean is that you shouldn't waste your time learning bullshit in school, but maybe learning real skills such as financial literacy, persuasion, sales, human nature, human evolution, religion, and philosophy. But guess what? Learning about all these things are actually fun and have tangible effects in your life, so you would like to do it. So I don't really need to worry about you guys being retarded. Number 2 is that you have to realize that this is a temporary solution to help you use the time you aren't studying to use into your online business to make money. If you genuinely want to become a doctor or engineer, just go on a dopamine detox. Then you'll get dopamine from studying. So now that all the prerequisite, mindset, and philosophy stuff is out the way, now let me show you my method slash framework of getting hundreds on pretty much every subject, test, whatever, through this framework. I have a 5-step framework, which is number 1, assess room, number 2, loopholes, number 3, positioning, number 4, comrades, which is optional, and number 5, assess guards, so the teacher observing the room. So let me explain how I use this framework to pretty much get hundreds on everything, with literally 0 time to study. So number 1, assess the room. Start by analyzing your environment. The type of room dictates the method you'll use. First thing I like to do is determine whether the test is online or on paper. Anything that allows even a glimpse of technology is 100% cheatable. So I'm saying all your assignments are 100% cheatable. All you need to do is train your GPT model, put it into ChatGPT, and then put it into Humanizer AI, and then use the same tools your teacher would use to check if it's AI on your own work and make sure it's 0% AI. But continuing on, if the test is online, this is your jackpot. You can use hidden tabs, pre-written notes, or what I personally do is, like I said before, I always have a GPT model in ChatGPT that is specifically made for the course, so I'd feed it all my notes, homework, assignments, etc. so it knows how to answer everything perfectly and all the answers are concise and to the point. So since we're already talking about the online section, I'll just go over it completely. So when it comes to online tests and assignments, everything, the only things you really need to swerve around is 1, a lockdown browser. The easiest thing to swerve around a lockdown browser is have a MacBook. Then you can just swipe your way out of it or use the system settings. But if you don't have a MacBook, all it takes is 10 minutes of research on your own. Downloading VPNs, you can alter the system code of the software for it not to work. So it's pretty easy. Next is another thing which is pretty specific, but I dealt with it, is when you're allowed to go on your computer in the computer lab room, but your test is on paper. Or it's not really a test, but kind of like an assignment type thing, quiz. This is one of my best methods. First thing is, whenever you're in this type of situation, you're allowed to go on tabs to do stuff. This is the reason why you have the laptop. So what I would usually do is have a Google Doc open with fake notes. And in the bottom, I'd write out the question just looking at it, and I'd put it in the doc. Then I would have another friend who's shared to that doc, and he would just be on GPT on the trained model that I have, putting it into the answer and then pasting it back into the doc. And even if the teacher sees, you can just rewrite it off for being notes, etc. But ultimately, what I'm trying to express here is that anything that's online is our domain. It's 100% cheatable, and all it requires is pretty much a little bit of bravery, some critical thinking, and some finesse. So if anything's online, delegate it. You can literally just pay someone else to do it as well. There's so many different ways. If it's online, this shit doesn't matter. But now let's actually talk about the hard part, which is traditional classrooms and tests that are on paper. So for physical traditional classrooms, you first need to evaluate physical details. Are there cameras? Okay, spoiler alert. Even if there are cameras, I guarantee you that it means nothing. And I put that on my honor. And if that scares you, you will never achieve anything in your life. And I can also guarantee that. Next, check for the seat layout. Is there space to hide a cheat sheet? Can you spot blind spots where the teacher barely looks? Always use the environment as part of your strategy when it's not online. Every room has its pros and cons. Your job is to recognize them fast. So traditional classrooms and paper tests are the hardest to cheat on. Some of my methods, I'll just spew them out. 1 is wearing a huge jacket like a trench coat or anything else. Then I'll have my phone on the lab, one arm on the desk and the other arm on the phone. Next, I'll share my trump card, which is literally the best thing and the only thing I use. The Ray-Ban Meta AI glasses. These are expensive, but if you can afford them, it allows me to cheat on everything. All you need is a friend on a FaceTime call through the glasses, which is able to do. Then, through the FaceTime call, he'll be able to see anything from the glasses. So what he will do is take screenshots from the FaceTime, put it into the ChatGPT. You can put it into regular ChatGPT or even the model that you train, which I always do. Then he will cite the answer to you through the glasses. And guess what? No one will be able to hear him except for the person wearing the glasses. So if you can get these glasses, you're basically guaranteed 100% in all your classes if you're not an idiot. So I'll put a link to the description to buy the glasses. Now let's move on to loopholes. Every system has flaws. Find them and exploit them. Remember what Itachi said, every jutsu has its weakness. This jutsu's weakness and risk is the existence of me. So even if this classroom looks like it's flawless, the only weakness and risk will be you, okay? So just understand that. So the loopholes that I like to look for, one, the teacher behavior. So if the teacher sticks to their desk, focus on areas that they don't monitor. If they roam around, just watch their movement patterns and adjust. Next is test format. Like I said before, online tests are full of loopholes. You can use browser extensions, external devices, or even split screen setups. And then paper tests, you can conceal notes and pens, sleeves on yourself. You can use water bottle labels, the Ray-Ban glasses, other gadgets. Just test them to make sure they all work. Now we had to assume the worst case scenario. The teacher's on point, she's viewing everything, she has 0 blind spots. Well, the best thing to do is that she's gonna have to answer questions during the test. So these are the distractions you'll use to shift the focus away from yourself and start cheating. Next, I'm gonna put you guys on straight game. The best loopholes are usually at the beginning or the very end of tests or exams. I call these the chaos periods. This is when everyone's walking around, walking into the classroom to sit down, or everyone's walking up and going to the teacher to submit this test. I call this like they're concealing the view. So in these moments, like for example, right when I walk into exam room and everyone's walking around, sitting up and going to like sit in their chair, etc., I just go flip through the exam page and start taking photos of the test. Cause you have to understand, it takes balls to do this shit. No one would literally just suspect, oh, this guy's just like, no one really cares. Everyone's so nervous to do these tests and etc. Everyone's just thinking about themselves. Everyone's gonna be walking around, there's gonna be a lot of chaos. You can just do it, no one will even notice you. And this happens at the end of the exams as well. The teacher's distracted because a bunch of people are coming to him to submit the test. This is where you can also pull out your phone, start writing shit, etc. And what you do with these photos, you put it in the app, the best thing ever, ChatGPT, which is all completely free, and just put it in. Next is one of my favorite loopholes, is when you're allowed to go to the washrooms. And sometimes you're not allowed, but if you're allowed, most of the times they're going to allow you to go to the washroom. So there's a lot of things you can do if you can go to the washroom. The main thing I like to do is wear shorts under my pants. Usually I never wear underwear, I usually always wear shorts because wearing underwear reduces your testosterone. But I have my shorts on, then I have my phone in my shorts. So when I go outside to ask them to go to the washroom, they're gonna be like, okay, do you have your phone on you? I show them my pockets, whatever. They're not gonna strip search you. So then they're like, okay, I don't have my phone on me. I go to the washroom, boom. I already knew that I was gonna go to the washroom, so I remember all the questions, bang, bang, bang. Next is positioning. Positioning isn't just about where you sit. It's about optimizing your visibility and minimizing risks. So pro tip, find fat students, since they take up a lot of space and they hide the view extremely effectively. Like for example, if there's a fat student sitting at the back, I always sit beside him. It's taking up all the view, the teacher won't even be able to see you. Identify the areas that the teacher ignores. There's always a bunch of areas where the teacher ignores, and I know this for a fact. Sometimes the back row works, other times the teacher knows that during the test the only row she needs to worry about is the back row. She's gonna be there a lot. So sometimes I'll even go to the front to make myself look innocent while giving me more freedom. And sometimes you may not even know anything. This is why positioning is so crucial. You just need to find the best position to cheat off someone else's test sometimes. So for example, say you haven't studied, say you don't even know anyone in the classroom. All you need is to find the best position where you have a view of someone else's test. So that person doesn't need to be smart, you don't even need to know them. Just find the best position where you can view them. That's why positioning is key. And next is seating charts. Maybe have a comrade who's gonna help you out. And this is gonna be a perfect segue to the next section, which is comrades, which is optional. Because honestly, I find that comrades usually weigh you down. And honestly, I don't really give a shit about someone else's mark. All I care about is my own mark. So I'm not really trying to help other people out because they're incompetent. So now, comrades. A good comrade can make or break your plan. So the best thing you can do with a comrade is that, say you're in a real classroom paper test and it's really, the teacher's on point. The best thing to do is that one of your comrades, you guys discussed this beforehand, you raise their hand up to ask a question and they have to like convince the teacher to focus all their attention on them. No blind spots, she's looking directly at your comrade. So this gives you time to pull out your phone and be extremely bold. Next is gonna be sharing answers. Say you guys just sit beside each other. You guys have some type of code language that you like finger signs to give each other the answers. Just exchange it if both of you are smart. Like you decided to study on one half of the exam and he started to study on the other half of the exam. Next is mutual support. You guys can use subtle signs or prearranged gestures for communications. But honestly, like this is not really, that's all they're known for. But like most of the time, the only thing you'll need a comrade is for the Ray-Ban Meta AI glasses, and he's on the FaceTime, and then you just help him out by giving him the glasses, and you help him out on that FaceTime. Or like I said before, on an online test, he's on the dock somewhere else, and he just gives you the answer for you, and you can do that for him as well to help him out. Lastly is assess the guards, so the teacher. So teachers vary in their vigilance. You want to study their behavior before and during the test. So cluelessness versus alert. So some teachers don't even bother to patrol the room, and others are eagle-eyed. You want to tailor your strategy to match their vigilance. So the best type of teacher are socially awkward teachers, and these are everywhere. They are a gold mine. If they avoid confrontation or eye contact, or they're just beta males, and you're a big guy like me and you can easily intimidate them, they're the easiest to work around. You can make sure to manipulate and take advantage of these teachers all the time because they're scared of you. If you're wearing a huge jacket and you're cheating boldly, most of the time they don't want to say anything. Next is also young teachers. These ones are like young teachers or smart teachers. These are the hard ones. They're more tech savvy and they're aware of these tricks. You need to stay sharp. Now is movement patterns. Track how they move around the classroom. I always understand this first. Whenever it's my first time in the subject and I need to get used to like the room, I usually like sometimes don't cheat, or like maybe if it's too easy I will cheat. But what I'm doing in this scenario is I'm tracking how the teacher moves. Do they stick to the front? Do they repeatedly check certain areas? Like what is their movement patterns? And based off this I can make my strategy. So this is extremely crucial. Make sure you know this. So look, essentially what you need to know is that cheating is like robbing a bank. There's always a way to do it, even if there's maximum security. A lot of you guys, like I said before, are gonna be in the comment section, well, my school is super strict and I'm in India and the teacher has a knife and she's gonna stab me if I cheat, and we have cameras and they always look at it and they're gonna report me, they're gonna arrest me. There's 5-star police officers between the classroom. Like, okay, even if that's true, there's always a way. How do you think these people always try to rob banks? And sometimes they get caught. Most of the time they get caught, but who cares? That's a bank. This is fucking school. That's why I created this quick little framework for you guys. Because look, not every specific method is gonna work. All that matters is you yourself. You just need to be able to critical think and know these type of tactics in the back of your head, and then you actually just think outside the box and find these ways to cheat in your certain scenario. And that's pretty much all that matters. Okay, so to end this video, I'm gonna put a time mark here because I know people in the comment section are gonna write this. This video is not telling you to cheat on everything, because it makes no sense. If you're in university, if you're in school, it's there to get an education, become a slave, and become a worker. I'm saying that if you're watching this video and you're like the poll 94% people want to become your own boss and you need more time to work on your own business, but you're spending all that time studying and trying to get a high result on something that doesn't even matter and will never generate you money, then this is the best result, as it's easy to do and it can get you a really high mark. But if you just want to become a doctor or just work a regular job, then like I said before, dopamine detox, get the dopamine from studying, and pretty much all you have to do is just put your head down and study. There's nothing more, there's no secret trick. It's all those videos about study methods, etc. are just to get views and just a waste of time. But that's all for today's video. If you have any comments related to this video, I'll answer all of them. Make sure you like the video, and just if you like the video, make sure you let me know somehow. You know, whether it's a comment or a like or you subscribe, whatever. Thank you guys for watching, and peace on the street.